Seven Trumpets Prepper. Guys, in this video, I just want to say, first off, that you're watching this a week later than when I originally wanted to post it, because I woke up this morning and Brother Ron Dalton me and him had planned to share some content for his new stuff coming up. You'll probably be seeing that shortly after this video. I got another community guideline strike on YouTube, hence why I've moved to Odysee. So if you haven't checked me out at Odysee, make sure to check me out over there. But with that said, we are at a time of separation right now in this world, as a body of believers, as a people across this world, and you don't need to get burnt out. And I say that because I myself need to hear that, because I think it's in Esdras, the book of Esdras. It's either in Esdras or Second Baruch that it speaks of a time will come and when the wise that see what's coming will pretty much just stay off to themselves, separate off from everyone. And I feel like we're definitely at that point. But there's two videos I also want you to check out, and the link's in the video description below. One of them is a video I made years ago about, it's called Prepare to be Betrayed by Your Family and Friends in the Last Days. And the other one's a video that I think will correlate to things that I'm going to speak about in this video today, from Truth Unedited, which is another great channel. Highly encourage you to subscribe to that content, because some of the things he said in that video is stuff I've touched on recently and stuff that I'm going to say some things about today in this video as well. And so I think it's a great piggyback for you to watch those other two videos, because they really help build upon the things I'm saying today. This year ahead, I really think will be a defining time for a lot of people. And I'll tell you why. It's because you've got that snowball effect, where that back when the Pope and C-19 and all the crazy stuff that started, when it started, it really made a lot of people take a step back in their lives. People quit their crummy jobs. People were like, I'm not going full totalitarianism, fascist. I'm a free-thinking, libertarian kind of person. Like, it just started dividing people right down the middle. People that, had family members have to move back in with them, or them move back in with family members. Marriages fall apart. I mean, like, it made a lot of people either separate from each other or spend a lot more time with each other, which caused them to figure out they don't like them that much, and they started to divide even more. The straight gate, many people want to enter in at the straight gate, but the problem is that you keep running into, is what I said recently, is that you have these groups of people that you've got this one person over here saying, like, this is the true Sabbath, and then another person over here says this is the true Sabbath, and then you have, like, the Roman Church saying go to church on SUN Day on our calendar, right? When you have this going on, the people that's on the outside start looking at me like I'm in a cult or something, because I believe in the Father's true set-apart name, or I try to show people the old paths. And even though I can point it to chapter, line, verse where it's at, because there's so many out there in the world today practicing lawlessness and doing completely contrary and saying anything goes when it doesn't, then that pushes a lot of people that would come to the truth far away. Now, it's important to look at it, because as I've said prior, I reference this a lot, is that in 2 Thessalonians talks about the great falling away, and that pretty much, or if you look at the context of that writing with the great falling away, right, is that the strong delusion that will be sent upon these people. All right, you have to understand that when the Most High God does something, now there's no removing that, okay? Because these people have been sent strong delusion at this point, so them people are well removed out of this ball game, right? But there is some, and this is why we all need to let our sins die and turn away from them, is because those who commit, and I would further say that if you look at, like, I think it's Matthew 7, where it's like, I think that some of the translations say practice lawlessness will be gathered and cast into the fire. That's an important word. I'm really trying to look at the depth of words nowadays, because the word practice, like when you go to somebody and you see a doctor, they practice medicine. We have people out here practicing toxin right now, right? Getting everybody to get the pokey, right? And I have to be careful, guys, because I'm getting content removed for everything nowadays. Cyberbullying, medical misinformation. It's crazy. I can't stay out of trouble on here. And we don't promote, I don't curse on this channel. I don't promote licentiousness. I literally scroll YouTube, and there'll be like everything up to the point of like, well, I would literally label soft porn on here. And that just gets to fly. But I so much talk about the end days, protecting your health, protecting your life, protecting your loved ones. I'm a monster. It's just, oh my gosh, dude. Anyway, make sure to visit us at Odysee. That's all I'm saying. But I want to take 3 examples because I want you, I'm going to animate a lot of people right now, but what I want you to do is a year from now, I want you to look back at this video and I want you to be like, dang, Luke was right. Because I even bought me a planner that helps me specifically line out each week, each month. What was my goals? Did I meet them? Like, I'm very serious about this year, about accomplishing all the things, finishing getting off grid, getting prepared for the end days. Like, this is the year, folks, for me. Y'all willing. And I want you to watch these 3 things this year because these are key notes to notice. Easy, and the list can be comprehensive, but these are 3 easy ones, right? Number 1 is the poke. I want you to understand something, that it has been interesting to me to watch this religion rise of supporting the poke, because I have noticed literally people disappear off the face of the earth from taking this thing, right? No Facebook no more. They're in the ground. They're dead. They took it. Next thing you know, they self-deleted, right? Now, you can call that medical misinformation. You can call it whatever you want. But whenever you see somebody and they go do one action, which is taking something, and then they're no longer with us, that's no longer medical misinformation. That is a statistical fact, okay? So, with that said, and stacking up and knowing enough people and knowing of enough people that I legitimately know are honest people that know people in their family, and they're no longer with us a year later from taking and doing one deed, you're going to watch this year more and more people finally pick a side. Do I trust Yah and his ways, or do I put my trust in man and dispose of myself? It's going to be very interesting to watch how this transpires, because also, while you have the spirits at work and people finally start to come forward and show you, like, it's easy to say things, right? But actions speak louder than words. So it's going to be not only a spirit at work in these people, but also you're going to watch and see that these same people that also go the other way are going to start selling you out. Now, if you don't believe me, Australia is a poster child for this. I've made multiple... I've touched on this multiple times. Even when I was on vacation in Florida, I made a video about this. Took time on my vacation when I was in Florida and spoke about it. And people say, oh, no, dismissing it. And now it's in world news how far gone Australia is. That is the model by which you will see other things go down south, okay? So keep an eye on that this year. Another thing of these people that's going to practice lawlessness is we're in an interesting time. People starting to come over to my channel, for example, and have seen the videos I've made about the Father's True Calendar. And they've literally started putting it to test and saying, oh, wow, this actually does match up with Scripture. It actually matches up. And not only that, we've already been doing the feast days by it. I mean, yeah, the rest of it adds up too. We're getting to a clear divide where there's going to be a great upheaval, especially in the Torah community. I give it in just a matter of a year, a couple more years. There's going to be a great cleansing of fellowships where that people's going to keep this whole SAT day thing up. And then there's going to be a bunch of people be like, I'm done, I'm checking out, I'm going to actually honor the Father and keep his commands. I am seeing this huge buildup around this topic. And it's not just me anymore. Listen, guys, I've spoke on this, the flat earth and the Father's true people, just like Ron Dalton's work that I actually went to Michigan to help support him on, that now a year or two later after we worked on that stuff and I helped him some on it, now it's here before you to view. Like, it's not something new to me. these topics, these things have been something I've worked at in ministry for years to bring you forward information, mini documentaries, help others on their documentaries, put the historical data, put the scriptural data. Like, we're getting to a point where that if you do dismiss it, it's not that you're dismissing me. I don't care. I'm a nobody. But you can dismiss me, but when you do, just know that you're dismissing truth, because a lot of things get labeled truth, and that's something very important to understand. Just like with this past year and a half we've seen with science community, people say trust the science, but forgive me if I'm wrong, because I enjoyed science when I was a child. I was a huge Star Wars fan, loved technology, all this stuff, anything to do with tech and science and stuff like that, science fiction. I loved it. But correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't one of the main premises of science is to not trust the science and always question the science and always push for more and always make sure you're standing on a solid foundation? Have I missed something? Because I feel I've missed something. And I try not to use the word feel anymore either, because your feelings will lead you astray. The last thing I want to point out is Pagan Holidays. Something that's been very interesting to me is that in this great separation because of the Pope, and love each other from a distance and stay 6 foot apart, and staying apart saves lives, and blah blah blah. And keep in mind, folks, I think I'm pretty certain I've had the Rona twice now. Here I am still alive, so just saying, life goes on. And if I didn't have it, it was the flu. So regardless, life goes on. And I'm not dismissing it that it's not real. I'm just saying, like, the efforts that this is going to is totalitarianism at this point. But the last thing I want to say on these holidays, because people are so far separated from their loved ones, that paganism, deep-rooted paganism in the holidays, people have poured more effort into now than ever before. It's almost like they have to double down on it at this point. And we just left the pagan holiday of Sea Mass, and it's intriguing to me, because now, being so far removed from this type of atmosphere and no longer being a part of it either, is that people will go the extra mile to excuse doing these things, while at the same time dismissing the Father's appointed times. Now let me say that again. People go the extra mile of the way to excuse these things, while at the same time dismissing the Most High Yah's appointed times, so they might practice and continue to commit lawlessness. I say this because it's important that you understand in this year ahead, things are going to probably get far worse. Matter of fact, if I might go on the record and say that all the way back when Biden got elected, I told everyone here that if Biden got elected, that America was going to be in a far worse state, not to mention the world. That has definitely taken place. There's more divisiveness and division in this country than I think ever before. Also, I see people's families from a microcosm of the family element all the way up to the extended family, to friends and everything. Just this huge separation and implosion of everybody not having nothing to do with each other anymore. And it's because people are finally being forced to go on one side of the fence or the other. And this kind of goes back to what Truth Unedited was saying there, is there's a divide as well, and I agree with him 100%. That's why I also encourage you to watch that video. Is because the division is real. It's important you understand that we're living in the last days, because we finally have, as of the days of Noah before us. Now, because we have as of the days of Noah before us, people that are cleaving to wickedness are cleaving to it more now than ever before. As the next holiday season arrives around, I encourage you to take this as a teachable moment for yourself if you've been far removed from this now, and ask your loved ones, hey, did you know this holiday's pagan? Why don't you take and just Google what Sea Mass actually comes from? 15 seconds of your time, just Google it. Does that bother you now that you know it was the feast of Saturnalia, right? Does that bother you? If they go forward to defend that, just like people that will go forward to defend the Saturn Day of Worship, if people will double down on that and defend that, these are easy markers to look at that and be like, well, this has been fun. It's time to separate from you for good. I'm not saying this to encourage division. I'm telling you this because that, just to circle back to the very beginning of all those examples, and plenty more we could go to, is that there is a war with something that's in the spirit realm, that you're dealing with that person in the flesh. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't come to you as some great wise man. You know, I had to stumble and kick my toe against every rock that led me up to this point. But by the grace of the Most High Yah, He woke me up in Babylon in SUND Church when I was there and was a deacon, and got me out of that onto this journey that's brought me here today. Every one of us, and especially those that I speak to in the comments or speak to personally, I've noticed over time that our journeys may have been a lot different in the steps that led us here, but nevertheless, we all seen the truths one way or another at some point in time. The Most High brought us all out of it. You have to let go of your family and your friends and your jobs and your relationships and material things. Like, it's all got to go. We're getting in a time where that it all has to go. I am so grateful that I have experienced divorce. I have experienced job losses, losing a home, losing family members, losing friends, losing worship relationships at places of worship and friends and stuff. I'm grateful for all these experiences because it has helped bring me to a level of solid peace. This world is on fire right now, and it's really going to burn one day, but it is literally in a conflict zone, especially in the worship community alone. But like, we are at Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0 right now as we speak, as you're watching this content. And I have such a peace in my heart like I've never had before. The one thing I would encourage everyone is we all really need to pray that we are accountable worthy to escape these things that are coming, because, ladies and gentlemen, they are here. They are at the threshold. And we honestly need to ask the Most High to please remember us in the book of life and the book of remembrance. And please, that day, when He sits on the judgment seat and, many will come to Him and say, I've done this in your name, I've done that in your name. I've thought about this many a times. I don't want Him to be like, I never knew you. I'm going to tell you two last things I'm going to end this video. I prayed to the Most High about different various things, like, give you a financial example, something totally random here. There was an investment thing I was invested in, Cashapp for anybody that's out there. Been invested in it a long time. Now, I think this over a year. I mean, well, that's not really, I guess, to some people a long time, but for me, many, many months have passed, and here a year and some change, I think, is about to roll over. And I had an uneasy feeling because they got past due on a payment. And I was like, Father, if this is not for me anymore, because it's already late, please let this be paid today before tomorrow comes, so that I know that I don't need to have no dealings with this anymore. I went to bed, and shortly thereafter, that it wasn't maybe an hour after I'd passed out of sleep, I got the email notification that I got paid from Cashapp. I have not received a payment from them people ever since. Needless to say, I haven't put any more into that investment. But I'm just saying, I asked an answer, I received an answer. I'll tell you another one. I was looking recently about the graphene oxide, because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an electrician, and I like to think I'm a very good electrician, a master at my trade, but I'm not a doctor. Don't claim to be one. Don't claim to have any medical background at all, really. Well, I was reading this thing, and apparently there's 3 different types of parasites that live in a graphene environment. And to fast track this, one of them looks like little orbs. I went to sleep, and it was like that night or the following day, or it was the following day or the one after. It was in this very short amount of time that I was trying to sort and figure out, a lot of information about this. My wife had a dream, and people were like becoming meat, laying down like pieces of meat for these creatures. And they were orbs. And these orbs would come up, and they would consume these people in her dream. And she didn't know I had even looked into this stuff. And so they would become one with the person, but the person was no more. The orb had control of the person. And so long and short of it, when Abby told me this crazy dream she had, I'm like, wow, I know exactly what that's about. I'm like, so these people that get the poke, they're putting these creatures into your body, parasites, whatever you want to call it. And these organisms and things are eventually going to turn that person over to them, so that pretty much that person's being a host to these creatures. And they're no longer a person really anymore. I got to really thinking about that, because, you know, we're getting to that clear divide where there's two types of people. There's people that put their trust in man. There's people that put their trust in Yah. There's people that's decided to serve Satan's kingdom. There's people that's decided to serve Yah. There's people that's decided to close their eyes. There's people that's decided to open their eyes. We are at that time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you can do two things about it. You can get mad at me right now because I've told you the truth. You can get mad at me because you're choosing to walk out falsehood and saying you're walking in Torah when you really know you're not doing the full walk. And it's not just because of the SAT day thing. It's not just because of the holiday thing. It could be various many other things that practice lawlessness. But you might like eating pork, and you're not supposed to do that. I am just saying that at the core root of all this, if we really self-examine, if we look at the information that's shared out there today, not only on my channel, but so many others out here sharing the same knowledge. 10 years ago, these things weren't easily found. 10 years ago, these things weren't easily talked about. I remember just as little as 5 years ago when the Hebrew roots movement hardly had any traction. And now, it's wide open. I decided for all you ladies and gentlemen to see the content Brother Ron Dalton's produced that I'm going to be sharing on this YouTube channel, the links to it so you can go watch it. I'm even in some part of it. But, you know, the knowledge that is here now, it's inexcusable. It's just inexcusable. On the judgment seat, when we stand before Messiah, do you think he's really going to be okay? When you've celebrated a pagan holiday for generations, and then you could have easily Googled in 15 seconds now in the age of information and seen if it was right and wrong and no longer participate in that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just using that one as an example. I've said so many things today that I hope that I can actuate somebody's mind to think on this. I've spent many years on this channel trying to wake people up, trying to help you prepare for what's to come, trying to show you how to build things. We're getting to a point where that you're not going to be able to do these things if you don't do them now. I really encourage you to take advantage of the good years that we have left before things go completely and utterly sideways. Guys, as always, till we see you again here at 7 Times Prepper Channel, I hope Most High LBRY can keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends. And Yahushua.